Hey there, everybody. Welcome back with the Plat. Purplatypus is the name, and welcome to another Eiyuden Chronicles video. Today, we are going to be talking about runes, what I consider to be the 5 best runes in the... I would say this is like early to mid-game. Definitely not like an end-game top 5 tier list thing, because runes can get pretty powerful at the end game. This is something I want to be applicable to your playthrough of the game, as not everyone has almost beaten the game like I have yet because I got it a little early. But I want this to be applicable to you, what runes you're likely going to want multiple copies of, which ones you're going to want to stock up on whenever you see, versus ones that are probably better ignored, honestly. Anyway, really quick before we jump into it, boom! Welcome back with the Plat. Thank you to the members and the supporters. I forgot what I was supposed to say there. Thank you to the members and supporters. I greatly appreciate it. Much love. If you want to consider supporting the Plat, then yeah, consider throwing me a couple bucks and clicking down below, seeing the benefits you can get. If that doesn't interest you, thank you for watching regardless, and I hope you stick around and subscribe, comment, thumbs up, you know, all the things, all the call to action stuff. So let's jump into it. We're going to go from the worst to the best, in my opinion. And, you know, this is my opinion, so that's all. Can I repeat myself anymore? Can I ramble on any longer? Yes, we can. I'm a professional. All right. So, number 1, by number 1, I mean number 5. The 5th best one is probably the most boring of them all, but you're going to be using these a lot. They are the runes of power, and then later you can upgrade to the runes of might. But if you can see here, I have 11 runes of power. Stats are king in this game. The damage formula, the way it works, I don't know exactly, but I know the difference between having 250 attack and having 300 attack is not 50 damage. It's a lot more damage, especially when you're using characters with charge up. It's a difference between doing 200 damage and over 1,000 damage, depending on, you know, your action. Or sometimes, like, Noah will do like 110 damage, and then my charge up character will hit for literally 1,500 damage, right? So stats are king. A little bit of strength goes a really long way in the damage formula. Mighty power works as well. And it's actually going to be good. These are going to be most of what you want to use for most of the game, honestly. There are other stats, like maybe on your healer, you want to do speed, something like that. But for the most part, honestly, physical is good. Magic is bad. Physical is good. This is going to be a magic is bad video in a lot of ways. So that's number 5. Number 4, we're actually going to do, so I think one of the worst runes in the game is the rune of SP conversion power. Increases strength by 2% per remaining SP. So at 5 SP, you get 10% more strength. In order to get the 5, that means you can't use your SP or you lose power, and you have to wait till you get the 5 SP to get a full effect. You could just use Rune of Mighty Power to get that at the beginning. However, the reason I talk about the worst one is the one that does twice the effect. The Rune of SP conversion Mighty Power, 4% per SP. Suddenly, at 3 SP, and you can start fights with 1 or 2 or 3 SP, you're already at 12%. So that means the fight starts. You're already beating one of the most powerful runes in the game. And at 5 SP, if you're not using your SP, because a lot of SP abilities are actually bad on a lot of characters, like most characters don't want to use their SP at all. Usually they're for hero combos other than anything. But if you have a character without a hero combo or their partner isn't in their thing, this is 20% attack. You put 2 of these on a character that can equip it, you are living life to its fullest, my friend. Absolutely nuts damage. It can make Noah a powerhouse. Like if you equip 3 of these on Noah, suddenly he's getting 40%, 60% bonus attack. Like, this is some good shit. This is something I'm going to actually test out. But a lot of attack. A lot of strength is very, very good. That's what you want. That's why it's the 4th best one. Now, the 3 best ones are going to be all magic, but you're going to see something in common with all of these. So the 3rd one, I think, is the Rune of Storm. The Rune of Wind is just purely worse. The only one good here is the Wind God's Breath. And it's not, Wind's God Breath is not that good. It seems to deal very little damage for some reason all the time. It does say minor wind damage and it heals proportionally. What's important is, like, yeah, the amount you heal is based off the amount of damage you deal. They're not like separate rolls. So if you fight enemies that are resistant to wind or just you don't take much damage from magic, this heals almost nothing. Like I've had characters, again, hitting for 1,000. This will hit for 30 damage, heal my party 20 HP. It's like dog water. But sometimes it is pretty good, especially in the early game when enemies' defenses aren't that high and you can get a few high magic characters. This could be a pretty good way to do a little bit of damage and get a heal. But the Rune of Storm, the reason why the Rune of Storm is actually the good one is because Wind's God Breath is fine. Lightning Surge is also pretty good, honestly. Deal moderate wind damage to enemy row, chance to stun. Stunning is good. If you can get a character fast enough where you can stun them, this is fine. It doesn't typically work on bosses, but still, it's like, okay. But Stormfront is actually a very powerful ability here. Grants all allies bonus damage, wind damage, and increases their action speed for 3 turns. I use this a lot. Increased action speed is very good. Being able to go before the boss is very good for your healers. It's good for your damage dealers. It's basically just always good. It's good in boss situations. It's good in other situations. So I use this a lot, even though it's very expensive MP-wise. I can only use it maybe once every, now and then. I usually use it on boss fights because sometimes bosses will be really fast, and this will help you get in front of them for multiple turns to kind of just keep you going. It keeps the fight safer for the most part, because if they almost kill your characters at the end of the turn, you could heal up at the start of the turn, and you could deal damage, yada, yada, blah, blah. Or sometimes you'll just kill them before they get a chance to go. So that one for me is number 3. I really like that one. But then the top 2 here they're kind of in different brackets. So Rune of Dark, I think, is probably the second best rune in the game. Couple reasons. One, for only 60 MP, you can attack all enemies. It doesn't deal that much damage, but it does damage to everyone. Its culmination of damage is a lot. But it also possibly inflicts sleep. This inflicts sleep all the fucking time. When you're going through, like, if you have an MP battery character that's just there to help make your fights easier so your other characters don't lose HP, they just start combat with this, half the enemies are going to fall asleep and they're never going to attack. You need someone to go fast so they go before them, but I mean, this is just, Reaper's Lullaby is really, really good. And then even better potentially is Sacrificial Brand. Deal an enemy column moderate damage for 3 turns. It does damage 3 separate times. It's 3 or 4 separate times because you hit them and then it does it for 3 more turns after that. So I think it's 4 times total. 90 MP. I don't think you could stack it though, where multiple characters could put it on and it keeps going. But it's a lot of damage for very little turn because it's like damage over time. Damage over time is good because the fight's going to go for 3 turns or 4 turns. And at the same time, you're only using 1 action. So you could use this and then defend 3 turns and still have done a really powerful action and gotten more damage than you would have on 1 normal action. So this allows you to kind of do the damage, while being safe, which is an important thing. Abyssal Sword is fine. The reason this is better than the fire one is that you don't need to grant this to yourself. You can grant this to another ally. And it does give him an HP drain effect, which isn't as good, but it is fine. The damage isn't insane. It's very expensive MP-wise. I don't like going up to 150 MP for this kind of effect for the most part on 1 ally. I usually want like a party effect for when you're approaching this mana cost. But it's still good. I think Rune of Dark is very powerful, better than Rune of Abyss, because my favorite 2 abilities are the first 2, and this one gets rid of those 2. Now the best one, and it's not even fucking close, it's Rune of Water. Rune of Water is easily the best rune in the entire game. I basically want this on every character that can have magic. You just have it on. Healing is very hard to do. On hard mode, you can't heal with items in combat. This is the only way to heal in combat with items for any reasonable amount outside of 1 hero power and the Rune of Wind or whatever healing. Like, yeah, there's like a Rune of Radiance, right? That you could boost all allies' attack power and restore minor HP each time. That's pretty good, but that's 180 MP. This is only 80 MP, and this is a big ass heal. This heals pretty much everyone to full. The healing drops is not as good. Boosting magic defense for 3 turns for only 40 MP, that's fucking good a lot. A lot of enemies attack with magical elements. So this is very powerful for keeping your allies alive. Recovery Wave is the best spell in the game by like far. It's so good. I use it all the time, always. Now, if you get to the higher levels, Rune Occurrence is probably just better. So, like, I know I said this is the best hands down, but I mean, like, this chain basically is really good. But Rune Occurrence it has Recovery Wave. It has the most important one. But also, Aqua Needle is okay, and Water God's Tears is okay. So, like, I guess I'm wrong. I actually like Rune of Water more than Rune Occurrence. The Rune of Pure Water is the one I think I like a bit more, but this is more of a late game thing when you actually get it. Rune of Pure Water, you get the Holy Rain, which is very expensive, but it is a full HP heal to everybody, and it gives them extra damage for 3 turns. It's pretty good, but you know what? I'm still going back on what I said right now. I still think Rune of Water is the best. I think Recovery Wave is better than all those. I think Water Veil is better than most of those. And if we're really looking for an AoE everyone, then you probably want to do something like the Stormfront to give all allies bonus damage, increase action speed, because it's 2 effects that do the same thing. You don't really care about, if you want to heal all allies and grant them bonus damage, there's a hero power for that, and it's, or a hero combo for that, and it's very good. It's very, very good. But yeah, Rune of Water is the best. Just make a bunch of Runes of Waters. Get on every character that can equip a Rune of Water, like in a magic slot, you should probably just equip it. Almost always. Like, yeah, you can equip the fire runes are good for damage. On hard mode, though, the damage is just dog water. It's just not as good as you do less damage than the physical damage dealers while draining all your MP, which is also the only way to heal in combat. So they're just bad. It's very, very bad. Like, if you have one character dedicated to it, you might be able to get away with it, but it's like, even Inferno Pillar, 200 MP, I'm at the late game. I can cast this once. I might have one character or something that can cast this twice, and it still does about equivalent damage. Over the course of 3 turns, because I can only cast it twice, it does less damage than my physical damage dealers. Over the course of 2 turns, 1 turn, it does more, because it does more in that specific turn, but in the late, it's just like, I could hit harder with my charge up characters than I can with this. So, overall, these runes, most of the runes that are going to be, like, Rune of Stone is fucking trash. Being able to break enemies' armor might be good early on, but it's honestly, you could just ignore armor. It's not that powerful. And even if it's like, okay, it's like fine. Increasing armor of all allies, this is pretty bad. It hasn't been good. Nullify all attacks on all allies once. This is fine if it wasn't 220 MP. You know what also? So, most of the time, your characters aren't all going to get one shot by an attack. So, if you just tank the hit and then you heal them up to full, you do the same effect for 80 MP, where you basically have it. Now, there are times where this is good, but 220 MP is nuts. It's very expensive. So let's stop talking about the bad runes. Those are the good ones, in my opinion. Stats are king, healing is OP, and everything else is kind of not that good, in my opinion. This is coming from the perspective of hard mode. Keep that in mind. So obviously, what you think is good might vary. But that's all for today, guys. Thank you very much. For Platypus is for Plat. I'll see you on the flip-flops. Bye!